Hello, everyone. This is Barry Heads with Sharp Counsel. It's another wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're working on our 80/20 leadership series, the 80/20 leadership series. And we'll call this snippet Leadership for the Individual. So, some of you, not all of you, but I'm sure some of you are asking, what is 80/20? And I'll tell you that in a second. This principle was founded by an economist. He was actually Italian, and his last name was Pareto. So we call the 80/20 principle the Pareto principle by nickname. And he found in 1896 while he was at a university, I believe he was teaching there, but he found that 80% of the land was owned by 20% of the people. He found it in one country and then he went around the world and started seeing similar things. So through the years, people have stayed with this concept and found that for many outcomes, maybe uh, for 80% of the outcomes, the consequences come from 20%, or excuse me, from 80% of the consequences, the causes are 20%. Sorry about that, on average. So, what we're saying is that 20% of the things we do give us 80% of the things we receive. So this is an average. So usually it's 80/20, sometimes it's 25/75, sometimes it's 90/10. Let me give you a more clear example. So if you have 10 pairs of shoes in your house, you'll probably wear 20% of them 80% of the time. The clothes in your closet, 20% of the clothes you have, you'll wear 80% of the time on average, or 25% of the clothes you'll wear 75% of the time. It's an average. For those of you who work out physically, who work your body out at a gym or run around the block or play tennis or basketball at a park, 20% of the things you do in your workout for 30 minutes or an hour, or however long you work out, 30 minutes or an hour, 20% of the things you do will give you 80% of your results. In your marriage or relationship with your partner, 20% of the activities you do will give your partner 80% of their joy or happiness. Okay. So this is common throughout life and leadership. There's this 80/20 principle. Now let's think of this for the individual. Okay. There is something we call personal time management. So, what I always suggest is plan the night before if you can about what you'll be doing or focusing on the next day. And if you can't do that the night before, do it in the morning. That 5 to 10 minutes you take in planning will save you 2 to 4 hours of wandering in the wilderness or trying to think about the next thing you will do. When you set the plan ahead of time, you are streamlining your day, streamlining your life, and making yourself more productive, efficient, and effective. Time management is so important because 20% of the things we do throughout a day gives us 80% of our results. Take, for example, going in the grocery store. From time to time, I go in the grocery store, like we all do. And there have been, usually this doesn't happen, but there have been times when I have no plan for what I'm going to get. So when I don't have a plan for what I'm going to buy or what I'm going to cook that night or for the week, I go in the grocery store and guess what I do? Just like what you probably do. You wander around in the grocery store thinking about what you should get. You haven't made a decision. You're indecisive. So you go down aisle after aisle after aisle, looking at things, wondering if you should buy it or not. So you're wasting so much time in the grocery store just looking and not being decisive. Okay. That's one option. Or what many of us do, or some of us do, is we go to the grocery store without a plan and we end up at the checkout line with more groceries than some of us can afford, or more food than we intentionally went in to buy. So we're overspending in the grocery store. That's why we have a plan. Okay. Also, in terms of time management, take time for personal reading, right? If we want to develop ourselves, we need to take time for personal reading. If you have 10 books, read the first two or three. Just focus on those first two or three, whichever is most important, and it'll give you much more success than trying to read all 10 at the same time. The personal time for reading is a mental exercise. It's mental development. It's building the brain. Your brain is like a muscle, so it needs constant attention. This is a weekly thing. And last but not least, your ideas. If you have 10 great ideas or 10 good ideas, focus on your best ideas. Okay. If you have 10 good ideas, focus on the top two or three. Get those done, leave the others alone until you have those top two or three done. If you're focusing on all 10 simultaneously, you'll never get anything done. You won't be efficient. Those ideas probably won't come to fruition. And if they do, they'll be sort of chaotic and sloppy. So focus on, if you have 10 ideas, focus on your top two or three, get those done in decent order, and you will have so much more productivity just focusing on the select few that are great ideas.